All right, Doc.
Hi, Dave. I've been enjoying your Ask the Doc series. Just wish the doc was in Texas. Sometimes I wish I were too. No, I would definitely like to be under his care. I am 56, have been lifting for the last 7 years, great blood pressure, don't take any meds, eat healthy, sleep 7 to 8 hours a night, 6'1", 205, 20% body fat or so, but have Hep C, no fibrosis, only 0 to 1 inflammation, last biopsy followed each year with blood work and a sonogram. I have had my testosterone checked for the last 4 years, and the total has always been high, 1218, okay, total, so that's got to be nanograms per deciliter 2 years ago.
Wow.
Started having low test symptoms around a year ago, and noticed my free test was at bottom of range, 50.8, out of the range of 48 to 224. Last week I went to Low T Center and got my, we might not be able to say that. I don't know if you get into trouble for, that's a trademarked or whatever company across.
Should I just cut it?
I don't know. I'll say it again though, just in case you need to say it differently. Last week I went to a medical facility and got tested again. They only told me the total number was 1089, I'm assuming again nanograms per deciliter, and said it was a great number. I told them my symptoms and explained that my SHBG must be too high because I have symptoms. They said they would test for that and get back to me. Haven't got back to me yet. Seems like they just want to treat people with classic low total tests that is covered by insurance. I have health insurance, but with my high total test, it will be an uphill battle. Thanks to the Ask the Ask the Doc series. That damn autocorrect must mess with me. I know it messes with me, man. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that messes with. The particular doctor said I seemed well informed and probably thought I was drug seeking. Haha. Anyway, thanks for the videos. Please keep my name private on YouTube. A big fan. Okay. First of all, I got to tell you, there is a cure for Hep C. And what drives me nuts is that people don't know, and it's been around for at least a year. Gilead was the first company to come up with a cure for Hep C. I'm partial to Gilead because I have a very dear friend who actually still works, but was up at the top of that group and is about to retire. But really, they were the first to market with it. Like so many other things, there's some pressures involved with insurance companies, and I believe it's about an $83,000 treatment. But again, if you have insurance, they should cover it. I have a vet, a good friend of mine, who went through this and is now Hep C free.
Wow.
And so that you should know right away. So a good segue though into probably why you're having issues with high testosterone, but a low free T. Obviously, Hep C is a liver disease, and probably what's happening is something is going on that's keeping your SHBG high. This gentleman doesn't say how high his SHBG is, but obviously the relationship is clear. High SHBG, low free T. So we want to get the SHBG down. What he doesn't mention is what his estrogen levels are. I can tell you that there's definitely something else going on, but I know that a major factor in having a low amount of free T is secondary to SHBG being elevated because the estrogen is not under control. That's the first most effective source of lowering your SHBG is getting your and again, we use estradiol as a surrogate marker for total estrogen just because it's the easiest, and we have a lot of studies that use it and experience using estradiol. But getting the estradiol number to about 15 to 20 picograms per milliliter, there's a tipping point somewhere in there at about 21, 22, under which So if you oversuppress, it's not the best idea, but you can certainly drive your SHBG down and your free T up. So that's the first thing you do. Let's check your estrogen and see if that might be the issue. Maybe you're aromatizing too much, and again, because the liver's involved in that, maybe that's what's going on. It doesn't mention his age, so I mean that. Oh no,
Yeah,
he does.
At the beginning, 56. I think.
56. Man, to have a total T
That's pretty good.
of well, certainly like by LabCorp standards, 1197 nanograms per deciliter is the high total, and this goes back again to that whole thing about natural. So he's above normal, whatever that is, at age 56. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. And he says, right, that's natural, without taking any. He doesn't take any meds.
Wow.
Assuming that means people call thing a semantics game there, but he's not. I'm assuming he's not taking testosterone. Right?
He hasn't mentioned that at all.
Right. So that's great. Boy, really rare. So, I want to help because if you can keep going at 56 without having to use testosterone replacement therapy, God bless you, right? But that would be the first thing. Second is making sure that your protein intake is adequate. You got to have a high protein diet for the most part, or I don't want to say high protein, but have a high enough protein intake so that your SHBG is lowered. We just know that there's a correlation between high protein intake and lower SHBG. Third on my list would be stinging nettle. And don't ask me how they figure that one out, but stinging nettle, they make a supplement and you can take it. It usually comes with quercetin, which is great for you, but you can bring your SHBG level down with that also. And then of course there is it's called, well, it's not an anabolic steroid, but like all these are steroids, whether it's estrogen, progesterone, again, because they come from cholesterol, but there's a steroid called danazol, which is not, it might be labeled an anabolic steroid. I might need to correct myself on that, but it's not. I mean, it doesn't work as an anabolic at all. But it can be used like any other anabolic steroid. Danazol is not contraband, it's legal, and I don't think anyone would object to using it because it's not like Anavar in terms of being like 3 times anabolic compared to androgenic. But that's another trick. A small dose, so small a dose, in fact, that if we're talking about Anavar, for example, a 5 or maybe just a 5, maybe 10 milligram dose of Anavar, which wouldn't do much for you if you're, say, a standard replacement therapy male using 1 cc a week of testosterone. You're not going to get an anabolic effect from Anavar from 5 milligrams, right? But that 5 milligrams will lower your SHBG so that you get a greater effect from that 200 milligrams of total testosterone instead of maybe it being, relative. You just look number for number. It's about free is usually like 2%. If they're measuring a free in picograms per milliliter, it might go to 3%. That's a 50% increase. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So those in order of probably not only importance but effectiveness will drop your SHBG and raise your free T. And I think that's the only. Well, the comment about insurance. Yeah, I mean it's paint by numbers medicine. So with a total T like that, you're probably going to have a hard time. But you can argue that where the rubber meets the pavement is not your total T, it's the free T. And if you've got again 50.8 is right above the low of 48 per whatever they're using here.
So he's in range, so they'll tell him you're fine.
Again, the typical doctor will say, oh, well, you're in range, so it doesn't matter if you have the testosterone of an 80-year-old, you're in range, that whole normal and natural thing. Yeah. But if one day he goes in and it's below 47, then he might have a chance. I don't know. I'm just saying that trying to answer his question really sincerely, probably not going to have too much luck. But again, if you find a doctor who's got some experience with this, certainly a free T of 50.8 is crappy. And that would warrant testosterone replacement therapy or a therapy of some sort to get the free T up, put it that way. So to get the insurance to pay for it, if you focus on maybe providing the doctor with, the evidence and saying, hey, total, it's like having lots of free T4. If it doesn't convert to the active form or the certainly way more active form free T3, which happens with about 16% of the population, then what good does it do you?
Yeah.
So that would be his argument, is to say, hey, look, but my free tea is really rotten, so help me out and cover something to get my free tea up.
Yeah. Thanks, Doc.
Sure.